Welcome back for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
So this week is a little different. I have my husband Travis here to join me this week.
Hello.
He will be helping me to review the latest film to spring from the quirky mind of Kevin Smith. And it didn't feel like it really warranted a formal review, so Travis and I are just going to kind of discuss it for you.
Woohoo!
Also, fair warning, this movie is not for kids. It's a pretty raunchy film for adults, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's do this. Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. So this movie is written by Kevin Smith.
I've been a big fan of Kevin Smith's work since seeing like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back ever since I was 14, 13.
Which is kind of like the age demographic.
Yeah, exactly. So at the
for.
time, it was very, just kind of juvenile and funny and weird. But then when I was older and started seeing more of his work, then I got more and more into what he was doing and just kind of fell in love with his writing style.
I really enjoy Clerks.
Yeah,
I think that one's probably my favorite. I also really like Zack and Miri, but...
he's, I've been a big fan of like SModcast and just listening to him talk and all the stories, and he feels like a genuine guy to me. And all of his films, whether they're kind of have a bit more serious themes like Chasing Amy and do the more juvenile stuff like what we're about to talk about, it always
it's juvenile.
It always has an honesty that I really do appreciate. So, all
right, so Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie is based on his comic book, right?
Well, it's not
The Adventures of Blunt Man and Chronic.
Well, he'd written a Blunt Man and Chronic like superhero comic before, and that plays heavily in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So what I'm thinking is that he kind of took whatever maybe he had for stories of that, or kind of loosely based on it, and then they just turned it into this crazy, silly, dumb film.
Nonsense. So basically, Jay and Silent Bob become superheroes and fight crime. But it's...
Well, okay, just the simple plot synopsis is, as throughout the film, they almost get turned into Spider-Man and they almost get turned into Daredevil and all these sort of things, but manage to get themselves out of those situations until finally they win money on a scratch ticket, and then they become Blunt Man and Chronic, basically a weed-smoking versions of Batman and Robin.
I think is really probably, for me, one of the funniest jokes in the movie is that they keep encountering these situations which could turn them into superheroes, while they keep going, man, wouldn't it be cool to be superheroes?
Yeah.
And dodging these circumstances. So I think that's probably the funniest bit.
Yeah.
The humor is...
It's very crass and very crude and very...
I feel like this is the movie that every 13-year-old boy wants to make.
What it really feels like is, people kind of get on Kevin Smith, or they'll talk about him as a filmmaker or not a filmmaker, because he's silly and he's goofy and he doesn't really, he's not an artist, he's not all these things, but that's okay. You forget that, if you just want to make something for fun, you can make something for fun, and that's exactly what he did.
I think that to me, that's what really makes him an artist, is that he doesn't do it for all these other reasons. He does it because he enjoys it, because he has fun making it. That said, I feel like although his other films are crass, this one is particularly, he didn't feel as clever to me as Clerks.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I would say about that is that, the other ones have, a heart or some form of message, even if it's thin. This was simply sugar, I'm going to sit down and just, whatever, man, I'm going to write it, it's going to be great, it's going to be fun, I'm going to write a bunch of jokes, and he just kind of had fun with it.
Yeah, no, the humor in it actually really reminded me of Cartoon Hangover's title, Super Fuckers.
See, oh yeah, but see, I didn't like Super Fuckers because it was just so, it just felt like there was nothing in it. But I don't know, maybe it's because I know the characters so well in this one.
Yeah, to me, it's that same kind of, there's no, real overarching story. It's just stupid humor cranked up to the nines and let's go. Which is fine if you're in the mood for that. There's not a whole lot of substance there, though.
No. But I feel that even the humor in this did happen to he latched on to certain things that you're like, oh, I'm surprised he did that. This is not a serious movie at all. They're just like, whatever, we can't get Mark Hamill for whatever reason.
In case
and so like, whatever.
We're thinking it might be a serious movie, because I don't know how you could have that impression. But
yeah, well, yeah. But even if you think, like, what I liked was that there were things that I didn't expect to happen in the movie. And you get to hear Neil Gaiman swear, which is, I find hilarious.
I mean, yeah, everybody in this film has quite a potty mouth, including Tara Strong's bubble voice, which is absolutely weird, surreal, and hilarious.
Yeah, but you should expect that from Tara Strong,
Tara Strong actually does quite a bit. She has that kind of sense of humor. If you follow her Twitter at all.
But for what it was worth, I have a nostalgia factor and a sort of love for Kevin Smith's characters, so I got enjoyment out of that.
Well, it was pretty much exactly what I was expecting it to be. So, the artwork, let's talk about that.
Kevin Smith and his friend and fellow producer do a podcast called SModcast, and they've been doing it for years. And the interesting thing was, during one of the episodes, this guy, Steve Stark, that we find out, did a little animation to a soundbite of one of their podcasts.
Just as a fan piece of fan
and
work.
he sends it in, and they loved it, and they talk about it, and they laugh, and then he does this film. So it's kind of, as you were saying, it's inspiring.
I do. I find it actually really inspiring. This is pretty much what everybody who makes things on the internet, this is the dream, right? That you might get discovered and get to do something like this. Say what you want about the artwork, and it's not the greatest.
I don't mind, because it's very much it's an art style that I think fits
it suits the humor that they have already.
It's all not taking itself too seriously.
No.
His art almost less than Flash animation.
It's
like
it's really crude. It's really crude animation. Look, I'm gonna be honest, it's not the best, but here's what I find really inspiring about that is that even though it is what it is, but the guy's still out there doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that takes more guts than a lot of us have, right? All right, so end thoughts, wrapping it up.
Yeah, I'd just say that if you're a Kevin Smith fan, if you're a stoner, if you're a teenager, whatever, you're gonna enjoy it for what it's worth. It's crude, it's sex jokes aplenty, it's stupidity, but there's some things that'll end up surprising you, in it as well. So.
Alrighty, well that's it. Thanks for watching our rambling thoughts of Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe for more.
Do it. She's awesome.
You can add me on Facebook and Twitter as well as Travis.
Please do.
I'll have links for him in the description too. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.